It took at least 36 hours for the experts at Kemri to determine that the suspected case in Eldoret was actually not Ebola. The patient and two of his relatives who had travelled with him from Sudan had remained in isolation during that time to contain any threat of an outbreak. But was that enough? What if the threat had turned out to be real? Just how prepared are we? During the entire period that the case in Eldoret was under scrutiny, public travel to and from that region to other parts of the country continued as normal, with many travellers unaware of what it would mean had the threat been real.
Now, a lot of the buses you see behind me travel to Western Kenya daily. Typically, a lot of exchanges, be it of goods, cash or luggage, happens on the buses. Now, with the Ebola virus being spread primarily through physical contact, it means that any one of these buses could possibly turn into a vessel of death.
It is reported that the patient and two of his relatives travelled by bus from a town in southern Sudan through Uganda, which is struggling to contain an Ebola outbreak, and into Kenya through the border in Malaba, then through the Kenyan towns of Bungoma and Webuye, before eventually getting to Eldoret, a distance of about 1,500 kilometers. What is worrying is that the same bus suspected to have ferried the patient into Kenyan soil was allowed to proceed further through Nakuru and Naivasha towns and eventually into Nairobi. Whether this patient had come into contact with any other person on the bus or elsewhere on the journey remains unknown, but it is not improbable. The bus had 66 passengers on board when it left Kampala. Meanwhile, business at all the major country bus companies continues as normal, with not less than 100 buses travelling to and from Western Kenya and crossing the Uganda border on a daily basis.
We are lucky that at least the two cases, the one that was reported in Siaya and the one from Eldoret, our laboratory results have shown that it is negative.
So as it turns out, there is no Ebola in Kenya yet, but concerns still remain and worries abound over what exactly we will do when the danger turns out to be real. For News at 8, I am Freddie Ndimuli.